Yeah, I am going to just talk more. I'm going to talk more about like fun memories with my crush. Cause today I missed her. Might work on the song a little bit, and there's details and things that like I haven't told you yet, and I feel like I want to, and that's okay. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the post notification tomorrow or in the next few days. I have a really fun video idea. It's not gonna be tomorrow because yeah, I made part 1 earlier today. This is part 2. So go watch part 1 for you to go watch part 1 because it's something. I would say a pretty good song. My hair's a mess and I generally don't care. Tomorrow I have dance for like 2.5 hours. And the thing with it though is that usually only most of the time I would do like the full 2.5 hours. Or sometimes I'll like stop after like warm up with Abby. But this time I'm doing the full 2.5 hours because sometimes like I'm just too tired to like make it that far like fully through. But this time I am. Or at least here's the thing. I'm pretty sure. I'm like pretty sure that I'm dancing tomorrow. I don't know. The reason I don't know is because at the end of boot camp, or like at some, yeah, like at not the end of boot camp, but at some point throughout boot camp, Abby said get them all scholarship for next Sunday for like the Sunday class on Zoom. So at first I didn't know if that included like Zoom people. I still don't, or what, because but then I think it does because at the end of day 2, this had a hair in my mouth. It was disgusting. But like at the end of day 2, they were getting ready to end it, and what happened was that this guy that was handling like the Zoom stuff a bunch, yeah, he said see you all next Sunday. So I think we haven't. I don't know. We'll see. If we don't get the email tonight, then which we won't know until tomorrow because they send it out really late or like after bedtime for us, or after the time that me and my dad go to the bedroom and we watch like a movie or we watch something, depending on whose night it is. If it's my dad's night, then we watch like a movie and if it's my night, which tonight is not my night, tomorrow will be my night, then we'll like sometimes watch a movie, but usually we end up watching like YouTube videos and stuff just because I like watching them. But I miss my crush, and I'm gonna give you full detail on the day before Valentine's Day because a lot actually happened. And fun fact, the day before Valentine's Day, we weren't planning to 2019. This was like 2019. You know I have not found my crush yet, but we weren't planning to stay the whole music class because here's why. Because what actually happened was, go watch part 1. because part one, I feel like explains something that I'm about to talk to. Part two, we're just going to lightly touch on. I was separated from my crush for 2 years before. Well, not 2 years. It wasn't, I feel like it kind of was, but also wasn't. Like, it's hard for me to almost 2 years is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say almost 2 years because we moved 1 year, but we didn't move until, like, the middle of summer, pretty much. And, no, actually, we moved at, like, I would say, like, kind of like the very end of summer. Or, like, yeah, and we were officially fully moved in at, like, the beginning of, like, back to school. And stuff. So I technically did get to see my crush a couple of times, like, a good amount of times that year, up until, like, we, like, officially moved, and we still were coming back here every once in a while to get stuff. But this one night, I'm gonna get to another story in a minute, but anyway, so we had like at one point, like, I was a wreck. Like, back then, I didn't know how to fake it. I couldn't pull myself together because back then, I was 11, almost 12 at the time. I'm 15 now. So now that I'm 15 and, like, I feel like since we moved back, I've been able to kind of, like, fake it a little bit and, like, make things, like, I'm able to, in the sense, like, put a smile on my face, fake a smile on my face is what I mean, and like, pull myself together and make it look like, oh, I'm perfectly fine. In reality, when you go past that, which luckily no one ever does, because I'm, like, the type where, like, I like talking about it on social media, but I don't like talking about it with people. And then you learn, oh wait, this person misses their crush, and it's not pretty. And stuff, and that's part of, like, why, like, in part one, I said that, like, actually, right now, I would say for right now, my new favorite JoJo song, or, like, just my new favorite song in general, is Gotta Get Back to That, Get Back to That Girl by JoJo Siwa, and it's a song designed for the J-Team, and it's a really good song. Go listen to it on JoJo's YouTube channel, or I think it's on Spotify and a bunch of other places. And it's literally, like, amazing. Like, I literally, like, it's amazing, and, like, it's a really good song, and I love it, and I feel like I love it because I relate to it, and, like, when I look in the mirror now, I don't see me. I'm the type where I can go past that, like, upfront look on people. Like, I can do this with anyone, pretty much. But where I can almost kind of, like, be able to tell, like, oh, this person's kind of, like, faking it a little bit. Oh, this person's really faking the smile. Or, like, oh, this person, not this person is perfectly normal. Or, like, or fine. Like, I can kind of tell that now because I'm so used to doing it. Like, I do every day. Like, so. And I do it because I feel like, well, first off, no one ever, like, you have to, like, don't get me wrong there. But I feel like if I don't fake it a little bit and, like, make myself, like, pull myself together and stuff, then it makes the situation worse for me, because then I'm, like, if I just try to embrace the sadness, horrible. Like, 'cause it's just not a good sight to see for myself. So when I fake it a little bit, it makes me kind of almost feel like I have to, but I don't. Seem presentable and seem fine, and it causes me to just react better. But the day before Valentine's Day, we weren't planning to stay the whole music class due to we had a 3-hour drive ahead of us, and it was already around I would say it was officially started 3:30, almost 4, somewhere in there. And so we had a long drive ahead of us. It was gonna be dark when we got home. It was dark when we got home. Even just staying that little quarter, we ended up staying the whole thing though. And the reason why, so we get there, and first thing was we saw the music class teacher outside, kind of unloading stuff, because she would bring certain things for music class. So what we did was I went up behind her and kind of surprised her a little bit. And it got an amazing reaction. She was very happy because I came up behind her, and then she turned around, and I said hey, and she turned around and went Lolly, got really excited, and it was fun. Then and that music class felt different to me, but that was probably because I was in a back brace and nobody knew. The only person that I told, or I didn't really say, but I showed, was my crush. And I'm gonna get to that in a minute, his reaction, all of that. But we go in, we're in the little waiting room area, which is where my dad would stay as I'm in there, on messing on his tablet or something. And we actually had, I think it was my tablet, yeah. Because at the time I had a tablet. And then, my dad was, messing on it a little bit, but we were in there, and all of a sudden, the music class teacher comes out, and it's hey, Lolly, we're doing, a little, toddler class if you want to come join us. And I'm my dad, no. I passed on it because I knew why I was there. And I'm going to get to that in a minute of, how I almost quit music class at one point. But I was there to see my crush, not there for necessarily music class. Yes, I was there for music class, but mainly just to see my crush. Then, but actually what happened was I handled it bad. I handled it bad. Go back to part 1 and you'll understand, how I, kind of handled that, very long time period. But anyways, all of a sudden, and someone for music class, and they come in, sit down, and then all of a sudden, my crush, showed up. And, what happened was that there was a little kid sitting, next to us. So, fun fact. This is also an embarrassing fact. I was sitting on my dad's lap that day. There was kind of a reason. First, there were multiple reasons. Reason 1 being I was definitely a nervous wreck. And I wasn't necessarily a nervous wreck on if I was gonna fit in or anything. It was just I was thinking in my head there's no way my crush remembers me. I mean it's been a year, and I was kind of a nervous wreck with that. Also, I wasn't sure if I was gonna tell him or not. I'm really wishing I had told him. And on top of it, it's a pretty small waiting room. This was way before COVID, so we're good. But it's a smaller waiting room. There wasn't a ton of seats there. I would say like there wasn't a ton of seats and stuff, so I like just sat on my dad's lap, and like and no one questioned it or anything like. So then, but there was a little kid that was sitting next to us that was there for like something else, and it was a she. She got up and left, but when she left, like the window open or like the shutter. Blinds. That's what it's called, blinds. Open, so I could kind of see outside, and I kept kind of like looking like I kept kind of like turning my head and looking out to like see my crush showed up, and all of a sudden I looked out and like my crush was out there coming in, and then gets in and straight up comes and sits next to us and is like, Lolly, it's been a while, and like I'm like, wait. In my head I'm like, wait, he remembers me? He knows who I am? Wait, I'm this, like I was just confused because I genuinely felt like my crush wasn't gonna remember me or something, and I'm like, I don't know why, because looking back on it now, I'm like I feel like after how many years we spent like every week hanging out, like at music class, I feel like that's something he would remember. Then what happened was that I kind of was like being shy because I was still shy, but like I was kind of like really excited, and then he brings up something. He brings up he has a girlfriend, and I'm like, in my head I'm like, should have told him. Like, I feel like now, if I could go back to that time, I would have told him. And you're probably like, well, wouldn't you have been the other girl or hurting his girlfriend or something? And I look at it like, yes, and necessarily at this point, I'm the type where I try to be nice to people, but when it's something that I wanted so badly, and I still want really badly, like if you ask me now, like, what's one thing that you want to happen in your life, that, like, if it happens, your life is, like, set for a while, you're good to go for a while, and you'll come up with, like, new things that you want to happen afterwards. That would be, I will straight up tell you, is to find my crush. And then, so, what I did was, like, I just played off cool and like, cool. Like, and then I did this. So I lift you might see a little bit of my stomach, but, like, same thing. I just did this, like, a little bit. And showed him, like, a section of, like, the back brace. And then he kind of just, like, looked down for a second and like, oh. And I'm like, yeah. And then, like, I could tell, like, something seemed off. And then throughout, like, he just seemed off that day. Like, he just kept looking at the ground from the second he told he had a girlfriend on. And then, like, and at first I thought it was just me seeing that. But then when we got in the car, me and my dad, and he said my dad brought it up first, and I'm like, so I wasn't seeing things. And then, like, I kind of told you the story, but there's details. But then, like, went on me, like, he saw, like, this app. At the time, I had, like, this really weird dentist app on, like, my tablet. And so, like, he played it, like, once, one round of it. And, like, we were just, like, having fun. And in that moment, like, I'm just in the waiting room, I'm, like, thinking, like, how happy I am. And, like, just in that moment, I'm, like, trying to, like, work it up to tell him, like, oh, I like him. But, like, there were a lot of people there. I feel like if not as many people were there, I would have told him. But, like, then we went on through music class, like, he kept wanting to, like, be my partner and stuff. And then, like, on our way out, like, he tried to hold my hand and I let it happen. And then, and then I went, like, I think he might actually like me, like, I don't know yet. And then, like, we got in the car and I'm, like, confused because I was confused because I was like, my dad never came and got me, and we're like, okay, time to leave. Situation. And, like, that day, I definitely sat next to my crush during, like, parachute time, or, like, we did this thing and called, like, parachute or something. We're, like, so it started with, like, the hello. We're, like, I'm the teacher and, like, or, like, one of the students or something would, like, I get to, like, play the guitar, like, just mess around for fun on the guitar. And sorry, I thought I saw something, but I didn't. Or I saw a bug, but I didn't, because I looked and realized it's not a bug. It is a piece of trash. But, like, where we sit on, like, we did a thing called the Hello song, where we would sit on a parachute, and then, like, someone would, like, play the guitar just for, like, the fun of it, either the teacher or just a kid doing it for fun. And we would, like, sing hello to everyone. And it was, like, I'm not gonna sing it due to, I don't think it's copyrighted, but also, like, I feel like it's kind of like a fun little idea. It was a fun idea in theory, but then actually doing it for so long, I'm like, it's not the funnest thing. Like, it's not boring. It's just, like, like, for me, I would always get, like, so weird when it came to me. And, I also don't like it because, like, it kind of, like, everyone was, like, forced to clap or, like, sing. And, like, I would just kind of quietly, like, move my mouth sometimes kind of quietly, like, sing it. Because, like, which is not good. I feel like if they would have, like, made it, like, optional for, like, optional if you wanted to have your turn on it, or, like, optional to sing, then I would be like, okay. But it wasn't. So, like, it wasn't, like, that fun. Then we, like, would put things in, like, a parachute, and we, like, beach balls and things, and we would just, like, shake it and stuff. It was a situation. It was, like, a thing. And I feel like it's one of the things that, for younger kids, great, but for me, not, like, the most fun thing, because I, like, never understood the concept of it or anything. Like, I'm like, are we just shaking it around just for the fun of it? Like, I feel like that's the situation, because if that's the situation, it's not that fun. Then, but, like, that whole time, like, me and Mike kept being, like, partners. Luckily, I say luckily because it actually worked out better. For me, not a lot of people showed up. Like, I feel like it was me, my crush, and then, like, 4 other people, maybe 5. So, like, it wasn't a big crowd, but it was, it was, like, something. Actually, no, I won't even say 4 other people. I'm trying to figure, like, 2 or 3 other people, and me and my crush, like, But like that situation, and when we got in the car, I asked my dad, I went like, how come you let me stay the whole thing? And he went like I saw how happy everyone was and how happy your crush was. He said my crush's name, but I'm not saying that. And it made, and I couldn't take you away, like, we couldn't leave early, like, everyone was really happy. And now, on to, like, this other story. And I'm gonna go rewind back, because the first, what was supposed to be my, like, goodbye, like, to music class from, like, going every week, ended up, like, just being a bust. And it was sad. Because first up, we only stayed a quarter of the time. Like, 2 other people showed up. My crush was out sick. And literally, the teacher went like, she said my crush went like, oh, he's gonna be sad that he missed you. And I'm like, wait, what does that mean? And, like, I'm, like, in my head, like, is that a good thing? Like, wait, does he have a crush on me? Like, please tell me. And then I'm like, oh wait, makes sense why she's not telling me, because I'm thinking this in my head and not using words in real life. But like, I'm like, what did this, like, she never like gave details, so now I'm like, wait, does he like me? I hope so. I think so. I don't know though. But one thing that I am going to say is that when I find him, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to be scared. Because I feel like now I've been through two plus a couple of months. 2 years plus a couple of months. I'm like torture. I'm like not being able to see him and not knowing when I'm going to see him. Plus, it probably going to be 3 years or more. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm going to be scared. I'm not going to let myself be scared. And that's just how it's going to be. But anyway, something that I'm going to say really quick before I get into another story is that if you are wondering, I came up with like a question that I'm going to answer, which would you rather have your crush know that you had spine surgery or not know? I answered, I don't know. I feel both would. Because I feel like on the one hand, like, I obviously wanted to see him, like, by then. Like, obviously I want to see him, like, that's true. And in ways, like, I feel like it would be good for him. Like, looking back on it, I'm like, well, I feel like it would have been good for him to know. But at the same time, I'm glad that he didn't, or he wasn't there at the time, because I feel like if he was, that, like, my dad would be getting a bunch of phone calls and stuff, like, is she okay? Is she okay? And is she done yet? And can I breathe? Like, something like, I feel like he would have been a mess. Just because I feel like after the big reaction over the background, which is nowhere near as bad. And I wouldn't say surgery's bad, it's just like it's sad that you have, like, you know, it's something that's not the most fun thing. And I feel like he would have never made it through knowing. But one day he will know. And actually, throughout that whole process, I not once thought about the surgery. Like, even when we were in the room, I completely just focused on, like, oh. Like, I literally just focused on him the whole time and then, like, thinking in my head and remembering, like, things. And it was hard, but also, like, worked. Because I was distracted the whole time. and stuff. So on to like the last two little memories. So I showed this one time. What happened was that at this one point, I wanted to go back to music class because everyone had a good reaction and I wanted to see my crush again. It had been like a couple months and I didn't want to start having breakdowns again. And so I convinced my parents. We went back and we got there and I got news that like I took it way worse than what it was. Now, this is still like 2019. No, COVID's not really a known thing. We don't even know COVID was a thing or not. Which is that like we showed up to music class and we got in there and like it was me and like one or two other like people, like a few people, like not very many. And then the teacher's like, oh, like, I overheard the teacher say that he was out sick. And in my mind, when she said that, like it sounded like, oh, it was a cold. But, like, it was a mess. Like, in my mind, I was a wreck. I'm like, oh, great, now he's gonna die. Like, I took it that far. And then later on, like, I got on FaceTime with Bella that day because nothing really interesting happened that day. And I'm like, Bella, I'm freaking out. And she's like, what happened? And I told her, she was like, he's not gonna die. Like, he's not gonna die right now. Like, I think it's just a cold and stuff, which I'm gonna get into one other little memory really quick after this one. So a couple months later, this showed Bella is a good friend. Bella was planning to come down for the summer and we were gonna go to music class. And what happened was that I wanted to go early because I really need to make sure my crush was okay. Like, before I completely, like, pulled out all of my hair, because I'm not joking, I was pulling out chunks of hair. And life happened. But, like, Bella told me, no, you gotta go. Like, forget about going with us, like, summer. Go now, you gotta find him. I'll talk more some other time.